that moderation in the pursuit of justice is no virtue.
Industrial giant, to get government back within its means and to lighten our punitive tax burden. And these will be our first priorities, and on these principles there will be no compromise. I can hear you! I can hear you! The rest of the world hears you! And the people...
Never give in. Never, never, never. In nothing, great or small, large or petty, never give in except to convictions of honor and good sense. Never yield to force. Never yield to the apparently overwhelming might of the enemy.
But I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
We declare our right on this earth to be a man, to be a human being, to be respected as a human being, to be given the rights of a human being in this society, on this earth, in this day, which we intend to bring into existence by any means necessary.
Apostle Claver T. Kamau-Imani on RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
Hey, what's up, Saints and Patriots? Apostle Claver T. Kamau-Imani, RagingElePhantsRadio.com, the rebellious voice of Texas Liberty. Great to be back with you again today, and thank you for taking some time to join me. Hopefully you're engaging, you're participating in the Raging Elephants Radio 2+2 Challenge. Today's program includes Kelly Cook out of Montgomery County and Raging Elephants Radio contributor Eugene Ralph. You don't want to miss Kelly Cook. Haven't had her on Raging Elephants Radio for quite some time. She's awesome. Check us out on YouTube. Now, I don't know what the problem is right now with YouTube. When I'm launching YouTube here in the studio, it is mislabeling the live stream. Everything is Friday. I don't know why. The past Friday. I don't know why. But if you go to RagingElePhantsRadio.com and scroll down to the right column, you will see the live bug right there, live now bug right there. Just click on that and you can see my beautiful face. That has not been, I've had no work done, if that stands for anything. Today's program is going to be fantastic. It's going to be stacked, and I got a lot of information to share with you. Let's get right to it, shall we? The number one issue, apparently, for voters in this 2018 midterm on a national scale and here in Texas is the border invasion. And that's what it is. It is an invasion. Now, right here on Raging Elephants Radio, especially yours truly, I have been focusing a lot on the real numbers when it comes to the border invasion. Because I got to be honest, until last night on Laura Ingram's program, I didn't even hear the Foxies talk about this. Not even the Foxies were talking about this. But Laura Ingram last night, I got to give her credit. She gave some numbers, and I'll talk about that in a moment. Now, back in August, I shared with you the actual apprehension numbers for fiscal year 2018 just for the 5 Texas border sectors. And the numbers for July had yet to be published. Promised you a few days ago, I promised you back then that I was going to follow this story and I would be on top of it when ICE on their website published the new apprehension numbers for July of FY 2018. So just to review, fiscal year 2018 for Washington Devil City begins on October 1 and ends on September 30th. So now here it is, the numbers for July, and just as a review, let's go back through the numbers, the first 10 months of fiscal year 2018. So in October of 2017, the first month of 2018's fiscal year, apprehensions of the 5 border regions, border sectors in Texas, 15,523. In November 2017, 17,673. For December of 2017, these are apprehensions. These are folks that have gotten into Texas and have been apprehended. In December 2017, 17,278. I'd be mad too, Butch. I would be too. In January 2018, 15,015. In February of 2018, 16,163. In March of 2018, 22,740 illegal invaders were apprehended after they have come into Texas. In April of 2018, 24,289 illegal invaders apprehended. May 2018, 26,436. For June, 22,708. And here we have the July numbers. For July, for the 5 sectors, border sectors in Texas, 20,554 total apprehensions. In the Big Bend region, 456. In the Del Rio region, 1,364 apprehensions. In the El Paso region, 2,891 apprehensions. In the Laredo sector, 2,602 apprehensions. And in the Rio Grande Valley sector, 13,241 total apprehensions. So far for fiscal year 2018, we're not talking about New Mexico, we're not talking about California, we're not talking about Arizona. We're just talking Texas. And like I said, as you saw on yesterday's program with Doc Green and I doing a tag team, I really don't care about what's going on in New Mexico, Arizona, and California. I'm talking about just what's going on in Texas. Because, see, I can do something, say something, I can change the condition as far as Texas is concerned. I can assist in that. I can talk about that. Arizona and California, New Mexico, not having the franchise in those states, there's very little that I can do about that. But here in Texas, there's something that I can roll up my sleeves on, no pun intended. So for the total of 2018 so far, 10 months, 2 months left, 198,364 apprehensions with 2 months left. And what's really remarkable, I mean, the number for the Rio Grande Valley of 127.8 thousand illegal invaders apprehended, yes, that's a stunning number. But when you consider that nearly 7,000 were apprehended in the Big Bend sector, I mean, the Big Bend sector, that's like trying to traverse Death Valley or something. That is rough terrain. That's a portion of the Texas border that many often say, oh, it's impenetrable, you can't pass through it. Well, they made nearly 7,000 apprehensions so far in 10 months in the Big Bend sector. I think that there are many people out there, even here in Texas, that want border security and just don't recognize how bad the situation actually is. I think I can find it really quickly here. Yeah, here it is right here. I'm going to play this, call an audible. I hadn't put this in the queue, but I am. This is Brandon Judd, and he is the president of the National Border Patrol Council. And this is what he said on Fox News about apprehensions. Listen to this.
Yeah, well, after he was elected, the numbers went down. They called it the Trump effect, and now we're back up to something like 600,000 arrests a year, about 50,000 a month. That's just who is caught crossing the border, according to the numbers. Do we know how many people are getting by?
We don't know exactly the numbers that get by, but we do have an estimation. Border Patrol agents go out and we do count what we call gotaways. Unfortunately, if you look at it, Border Patrol agents will tell you that we're probably about 50 to 60% effective. So between 40 and 50% of those people that cross the border illegally are still getting away from us. So we arrest 50,000, but 50,000 are getting by, and that should be extremely concerning. But again, all you have to do is look at the failed operations and policies. When we're only deploying, you know, the Washington Times did a great article 2 or 3 months ago where they reported that McAllen, our busiest Border Patrol station, was only deploying about 12.5% of our resources on the border. That's just not going to get it done.
And that's what I've been saying. It's a 50-50 proposition. So if we listen to the president of the National Border Patrol Council, if you trust him, I mean, I'm not using the numbers that St. Danny Boy Patrick, Lieutenant Governor of Texas, is using. He says it's a 4-to-1 getaway versus apprehension. For every one that, Butch, please. Butch is acting a clown today. I don't know what the situation is, but that's Butch in the background playing with one of his toys. Sorry about that. I had to do a program with a 10-month-old Doberman Pinscher, and if he decides to play, he decides to play, I guess. I don't have time to deal with Butch. If he's happy, he's happy. Everybody knows he's my co-host, he's my sidekick, and he usually goes to sleep at this particular point of the day during the program. But today he's decided to be active. Gee, thanks, Butch. So if I have to give him some commands in the background, there you have it. I've got to deal with Butch. All right. So if Brandon Judd is telling us it's a 50-50 proposition, and you've got, let's just round it up. Using conservative numbers, 200,000 have been apprehended in the first 10 months of FY 2018, 2 months left. That means 200,000 have gotten away. That's a total of 400,000. I've given you the numbers before. On D-Day, the combined Allied invasion forces only numbered 156,000. At the height of the surge, both the surges in Afghanistan and Iraq, U.S. military personnel in theater only reached total for both of them 250,000. And we're talking about in 10 months of FY 2018, 400,000 have infiltrated into Texas. And those who were apprehended might as well be considered free as a bird because catch and release is still in full effect. So you've got 200,000 that got apprehended and got a chauffeured, escorted ride into the interior of Texas because they're going to get released. And you've got 200,000 so far this year that got through scot-free, untouched, end zone dancing, not a hand laid on them, and they're definitely free as a bird and on their way to a pathway to citizenship. 200,000. That comes out to 19.8 thousand per month. 661 per day, 27.5 per hour. And if you kick in, if you double that, that's going to give you 1 every minute that's invading into Texas. 1 every minute that's invading into Texas. Unaccompanied minors, children, 28,118 have been apprehended so far. These are supposed to be the dirty diaper invasions, unaccompanied children. Do people think that it's only a few hundred little babies coming in? 28,118 into Texas, unaccompanied. So when there's a report on the Foxes, oh, well, they found 100 and something illegal invaders in some stash house somewhere. So what? 100? You caught 100 behind in an 18-wheeler. There's 30 of them in an 18-wheeler. And people believe that that's the extent of the problem. Oh, gee, there was one 18-wheeler and 30 illegal invaders were caught in the 18-wheeler, stashed in the 18-wheeler, or 50 or 80 or whatever it is. When the fact is, as far as Texas is concerned, 400,000 have invaded into Texas since October 1, 2017. So says the website of ICE. Do you trust ICE? I don't know what's up with Butch. Today, on today's program, Kelly Cook and Eugene Ralph, Raging Elephants radio contributor.
What's up, Saints and Patriots? I'm Apostle Claver, a proud Texas nationalist, and I'm here to tell you about Texit. For 25 years, Daniel Miller has been working to see the rebirth of the Republic of Texas. His work has been hard, but his passion is deep.
And Eugene Ralph, Raging Elephants radio contributor.
What's up, Saints and Patriots? I'm Apostle Claver, a proud Texas nationalist, and I'm here to tell you about Texit. For 25 years, Daniel Miller has been working to see the rebirth of the Republic of Texas. His work has been hard, but his passion is deep. For many Texans, there is a deep yearning, a burning to see the prophecy of Sam Houston come true. But the desire of their hearts comes with many questions. Texit has the answer. It's the new book from Daniel Miller and Defiance Press. Texit, why and how Texas will leave the Union. Texit charts the path to Texas independence. This riveting book of facts and philosophy will soothe your anxiety about the coming change and build your confidence that Texans can get it done. You'll want to buy several copies for your family and friends. Like I've said about this governmental mess, the only way out is out. And the best part of Texit, I'm in it. Texit, why and how Texas will leave the Union. It's selling like hotcakes. Buy it on RagingElephantsRadio.com.
Hey, Barry, the Music Man here for Tejas Smoke Depot. They have everything you need when it comes to smoke. Check out the 150-square-foot walk-in humidor filled with a huge selection of fine cigars. Or give them a call at 830-990-1472 and order up what you want. Maybe you like to roll your own. They have it. Maybe you need a gift for a smoker in the family. How about a new pipe? They have a large selection, even a cross-section of great beers in its stock. In a hurry, come by and use the drive-thru. Located at 1639 West Highway 290 in Fredericksburg, Texas. Out of town? Visit them at the website, TejasSmokeDepot.com, or call 830-990-1472. That's 830-990-1472. It's smoking.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
One of the premier property management companies in Texas, providing below-market rates with above-market amenities and service. Hartman has owned and operated commercial office properties since 1983, offering premium office space at an affordable price by saving businesses a significant amount of money by keeping taxes, utilities, and maintenance low. With over 30 years in commercial leasing in Houston, San Antonio, and Dallas, we have learned exactly what our customers require.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
Managed on Christian principles with a strong dedication to community benevolence. Whether you need 1,000 or 10,000 square foot of office space, Hartman has that space in one of nearly 50 Texas locations.
Hartman, The power of proven results.
Energy-efficient buildings, customer-friendly experts, supporters of conservative causes. A Texas-owned and operated business for 30 years. A proud corporate sponsor of RagingElephantRadio.com.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
Visit Hartman online, hi-REIT.com. Call 800-880-2212 or click the ad on RagingElephantRadio.com.
Can you do it? The RER 2+2 Challenge. Howdy, rowdy Texans. It's me, E, the millennial voice of RER. I'm a big fan of RagingElephantRadio.com. More Texas voters should be listening to RER every day. A better, deeper knowledge of how Texas works will help Texas voters to make Texas more like Texas. The RER 2+2 Challenge. Listen to RER 2 hours a day, every day for 2 weeks. You'll learn more about Texas politics in 2 weeks than you've ever known. Mark it on your daily calendar. Set your phone alarm. The RER 2+2 Challenge. 2 hours a day, every day for 2 weeks. RagingElephantRadio.com. The rebellious voice of Texas liberty.
Your grassroots political organization may benefit from having your own internet radio program. RagingElephantRadio.com can help you achieve that. By having your own RER program, you can personally inform your members and supporters of the top issues in your community and grow the size of your organization. Starting your own RER show isn't as hard as you think or as costly as you think. To get started, go to RagingElephantRadio.com and click the Advertise on RER button for a list of prices. Or you can email us, sales@RagingElephantRadio.com. Have your voice heard? Have your own show on RagingElephantRadio.com.
You're enjoying Apostle Claver T. Kamau-Imani on RagingElephantRadio.com.
I'm going to try to get to the speaker's race today, but right now, I'm talking about
Kelly Cook is coming up on today's program. She's an activist, a transportation activist against red light cameras. We've got some stuff we need to talk about as far as red light cameras. I'm going to try to get to the speaker's race today, but right now,
government.
I'm talking about
the economy,
the border, and the border invasion.
And more importantly,
what is the purpose of invasion, saints and patriots?
Now, who's to blame for this?
Conquest.
I think the buck stops with
to take control of government,
program, when I was with
the economy,
5th anniversary program,
and more importantly,
I got to give him some slack.
The culture.
I've said this before. I know Trump gets it.
Now, who's to blame for
from
this?
Big corporate media all the time. But if I
think the buck stops with Donald Trump.
It's going to be from the liberty perspective. I'm going to
yesterday's program,
and if
when I was with Doc for our 5th anniversary program,
it needs to be pointed out.
Doc was saying I got to give him some slack. And I've said this before. I know Trump gets it from big corporate media all the time. But if I'm going to hammer Donald Trump, it's going to be from the liberty perspective. I'm going to stay consistent. And if the job isn't being done, then it needs to be pointed out. I'm not going to give him any slack. Is immigration, is the border invasion important to you? Then if it is, if the polling is correct, that is the #1 issue right now for voters, not just in Texas, but across the nation,
New Mexico,
then
Arizona,
I've got to point out what the facts are. Now, last night, for the first time, I have to say,
the numbers are ugly.
I heard Laura Ingraham give the numbers for the entire border: Texas,
this is where
New Mexico,
I have an issue with Laura
Arizona, California.
I got to give
the apprehensions.
For sharing the numbers.
Ugly. The numbers
I'm sure
are
she got them where
ugly.
I got them off of ICE's website.
But see, this is where I have an issue with Laura Ingraham.
To argue for the wall.
I got to give her props for sharing the numbers.
This is what ticks me off.
I'm sure she got them where I got them off of ICE's website.
That was campaigned on. President Trump campaigned
but she used
on
it,
this.
Used the numbers to argue for the wall.
And he was going to secure the border. It's not being done.
And this is what ticks me off.
Now is just as bad.
First, the job isn't being done. That was campaigned on. President Trump campaigned on this. You know it, and I know it. That he was going to secure the border. It's not being done. The condition now is just as bad when Barack Hussein Obama was in office. Are we going to be intellectually honest? Or are we going to be sycophants?
It's just as bad
Or
now.
are we going to be Donald Trump idol worshippers?
Obama. We gave Obama criticism.
We have to be honest. Is the job being done or not being done? And the answer is no. The job is not being done. It's just as bad now under Donald Trump than it was under Barack Hussein Obama.
By the swamp.
We gave
by the
Obama
DOJ,
criticism.
by the FBI.
We need to give Trump criticism.
He is utterly
Beauregard Sessions needs to be fired. The one issue we believe that he would be strong on would be immigration. Oh, he has been so whipped by the swamp, by the DOJ, by the FBI, by the deep state. He is utterly useless. I have called for his resignation before, nothing to do with any type of Russian hoax, to do entirely on his incompetence on border security and protecting us. He needs to resign, or Donald Trump needs to fire him. And Trump can fire him without citing anything doing with the Russia investigation. Donald Trump can fire him for incompetence, being ineffectual on the issue of border security, protecting us from the invasion.
Secretary of Homeland Security.
I don't care how sexy Christian Nielsen is. She's just as bad as Janet Napolitano. Yeah, I said it. She's just as bad as Janet Napolitano. The situation is just as bad with Christian Nielsen being National Secretary of Homeland Security as it was with Barack Hussein Obama and Janet Napolitano. So Donald Trump needs to fire Kirstjen Nielsen. She may be the sexiest woman in the Trump administration. So be it.
About border security, and if
fire her buttocks.
Just as worse as Obama. Oh well, because I voted for him, because he's my guy.
Trump is doing a bad job. He gets an F from me, and I'm not giving him any slack. Because if you care about border security, and if he's doing just as worse as Obama, oh well, because I voted for him, because he's my guy. I can't criticize him. Laura Ingraham can't criticize him because she's on the Foxes. So she can't criticize him. She can cite the atrocious numbers of failure.
About GDP.
That's what it is. These numbers show failure on border security. Look, if he's out there trumpeting
about the money
the unemployment numbers,
NATO.
If he's out there trumpeting the historical unemployment numbers, if he's out there pounding his chest about GDP, about the return of manufacturing jobs, about the tax cuts,
of ISIS,
about the money that he's gotten for NATO, about foreign security.
Fine.
Foreign.
About that. Talk about that. That's great. But you are
foreign
also
policy successes,
to secure the border,
about the diminishing of ISIS, battlefield successes. Okay. Fine.
It's just as bad under Trump
Pound the chest about that. Talk about that. That's great.
Whatsoever.
But you are also elected Donald Trump to secure the border, and that's not what's being done.
Have entered into Texas in the first 10 months of FY 2018.
It's just as bad under Trump as it was under Obama. I'm not giving him any slack whatsoever. I'm just talking about Texas. 400,000 invaders have entered into Texas in the first 10 months of FY 2018.
By toddlers in dirty diapers. The country is being conquered by toddlers.
Donald Trump out there talking about spending $1.4 trillion for rebuilding the military.
All they have to do
fantastic,
is
great.
Get across the Rio Grande.
But the country is being conquered by toddlers in dirty diapers. The country is being conquered by toddlers in dirty diapers. They don't need any military equipment. All they have to do is somehow get across the Rio Grande.
$1.4 trillion on national security.
$1.4 trillion.
The stupid
we spend $4 trillion per year. The Washington Devil City does. Governmental expenditures on the books. And so over these next two fiscal years, $1.4 trillion on national security, building up the military, the stupid Space Force. This is the question I have for the Trump administration. This is the question I have for President Donald and Don Jr. and Eric Trump and the rest rest of them. Is Space Force going to do anything to fulfill the promise of securing the border? I doubt it.
Texas leaders should be held accountable as well.
I doubt it. I don't think Space Force is going to help in securing the border. I don't think so.
Greg Abbott, Dan Patrick, Ken Paxton, little Georgie P.P. Bush, they're the ones that need to be doing the job.
Texas leaders should be held accountable as well.
They're the ones that need to be doing the job.
If the national government is not doing the job, then it falls in the lap of Greg Abbott, Dan Patrick, Ken Paxton, little Georgie P.P. Bush. They're the ones that need to be doing the job. Sid Miller, ad commissioner. They're the ones that need to be doing the job of securing the Texas border and protecting us from illegal invaders. They're not doing that. And they need to be held accountable too. They can't give us the pablum. They can't give us the CYA story of, oh, it's the national government, or as they would put it, the federal government's job when it comes to border security.
We should be demanding.
Well, if they're not doing the job, if Barack and saying Obama wasn't doing the job, and we were calling on them to secure the border, if Donald Trump is not doing the job, then we should be doing the very same thing to be consistent, to be honest to ourselves. We should be demanding that Greg Abbott shuts down the border. Dan Patrick should stop campaigning on it, raising money on it, and shut down the border. They're not doing that. I'm not done with this issue. You say it's your number one issue, the border invasion, and Donald Trump is doing an awful job. The July numbers prove it once again. No improvement whatsoever.
RER Cross is the Christian programming of RagingElePhantsRadio.com. Pastor Stephen Broden is a featured Bible teacher.
What runs interference with God's instructive word are Satan, the world, and the flesh. Out of these three comes doubt, fear, and unbelief. Doubt and fear leads to unbelief. Unbelief, more than any other sin, is targeted towards the very character and integrity of God himself. It challenges God's promises, his stated purposes, and casts dispersion on his plan for you and all who believe. This is what Satan did in the Garden of God with Adam and Eve. Satan led them to believe God was holding back on them and was untruthful about the consequences if they ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
Enjoy Pastor Stephen Broden, 9:30 a.m. and 9:30 p.m. Sundays on RER Cross, right here on RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
Stop smoking and enjoy it. Electronic cigarette vaporizers. More than an actual product, this is the name of the company that's going to lead you to a tobacco-free life. Apostle Claver here. ECD is where I went to break my cigar usage. Now I'm a happy vape fan. Vaping, healthy, more socially acceptable. The new cool thing. No one's better in Texas. To intro you to the world and tech of vaping than electronic cigarette vaporizers. Bart, Antal, Max, and Chris.
And break your tobacco habit with no jitters or stress while enjoying relaxing inhalation. You've been wanting to do it, so do it. Stop smoking and enjoy it. Electronic cigarette vaporizers. 2755 Gessner in Houston. Call 713-939-8273, 713-939-VAPE, or see the ad on RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
TV and radio are great mediums for mass instruction, but for those times when you just want to hold something in your hands, there is the Damn Good Times. I still love the newspaper, but I'm tired of the liberal bias. That's why I reach for the Damn Good Times. Always full of interesting stories and great information, and you can have it delivered to your doorstep by calling 281-332-5710 or sending an email to news@thedamngoodtimes.com. Just $50 a year will get a full subscription. It's a great gift for all the patriots you know. Do it now.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
One of the premier property management companies in Texas, providing below market rates with above market amenities and service. Hartman has owned and operated commercial office properties since 1983, offering premium office space at an affordable price by saving businesses a significant amount of money by keeping taxes, utilities, and maintenance low. With over 30 years in commercial leasing in Houston, San Antonio, and Dallas, we have learned exactly what our customers require.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
Managed on Christian principles with a strong dedication to community benevolence. Whether you need 1,000 or 10,000 square foot of office space, Hartman has that space in one of nearly 50 Texas locations.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
Energy energy-efficient buildings, customer-friendly experts, supporters of conservative causes. A Texas-owned and operated business for 30 years. A proud corporate sponsor of RagingElephantRadio.com.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
Visit Hartman online, hi-REIT.com. Call 800-880-2212 or click the ad on RagingElephantRadio.com. What do you care about Washington, D.C.? D.C. doesn't care about you. You're a Texan. You're a Texan above all else. And there's only one radio station that's going to feed your need for Texas power and independence. RagingElephantRadio.com. Finally, the Patriots of the Lone Star State have a unified voice to fight back and organize. 24/7, 365. RagingElephantRadio.com is going to give you what you need to know about Texas politics, liberty, and independence. Take us wherever you go. RagingElephantRadio.com. Streaming on your computer, smartphone, tablet, and internet auto.
Information, communication, action. RagingElephantsRadio.com.
Later on in today's program, I'm going to try to touch on the speaker's race because there's been 6 Straussian rhinos that have declared so far to be the new speaker to replace King Joe Strauss. As far as liberty-driven Texans are concerned, as of yet, there is no good choice. I was going to talk about that in a few moments. Kelly Cannon is going to be coming up in just a little bit. And I'm going to stay on this whole idea of holding everyone accountable for the border invasion. And that's what it is. It's an absolute border invasion. When you see these numbers, just for anybody that's just tuning in, I shared with you the new numbers for 10 months of FY 2018 as far as the apprehensions are concerned. And remember, you have to double this. According to the National Border Patrol Council, 198,364 apprehensions. Let's just round it up to 200,000 apprehensions. That means that so far in 10 months of fiscal year 2018, just for Texas, 400,000 illegal invaders have entered into the sovereign territory of Texas. The only way out on this, Saints and Patriots, is out. I just played that promo for you in the last stop set. Apparently, D.C. doesn't care about you. Donald Trump is playing politics with the wall. That's what he's doing. He's playing politics. He wants the wall. The man has some sort of proclivity for having his name on stuff. I mean, a lot of his money is made on licensing, just selling the name Trump. And what he wants is the Trump wall. When Laura Ingraham on the Foxies last night, the first time I've heard anybody on the Foxes, on Fox Network, even share remote, in any way, shape, or form, share the numbers, the disturbing numbers on the border invasion, and she was quoting the numbers for all of the southern border, not just for Texas. I'm just talking about Texas because I really don't give a rat's toenail about New Mexico, Arizona, or California. I really don't. I'm talking about Texas. So I said it on Doc's program the other day. I'm a Texas supremacist. I'm not a white supremacist. I'm not a black supremacist, but I am a proud Texas supremacist. I am. And the only way out of this mess is out. But even Laura Ingraham, when she's reporting the numbers, she actually uttered the numbers, how bad the situation is on the border. She uses the White House line. She uses the Trump line. Why? Because there is no way in the world that she's going to be allowed to criticize President Donald, especially on the issue of the border invasion. She can't do that. So she's uttering Donald Trump's line of build the wall. You got to build the wall. We need immediate solution to the problem, an immediate solution to the problem. We need immediate intervention from Washington, Devil City, from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, from the commander-in-chief. if I'm going to give anybody any slack, I'm not going to give Donald Trump any slack like Doc says he wants to do, like others out there, you other Trumpkins out there, you want to give him slack. If I'm going to give anybody any slack, I'm going to give the trained clapping seals that show up at Donald Trump rallies and scream and chant, build the wall. We don't have time for the wall to be built. We need action now. The invasion needs to be stopped right now. If you are screaming at the top of your lungs or have the bumper sticker, build the wall, you should be screaming at the top of your lungs or have the bumper sticker that says, send in the Marines. Posse comitatus cannot apply in this situation when there's an invasion going on if they're using armored vehicles or not. I don't care if they're toddlers in dirty diapers. We are being invaded. The purpose of invasion is conquest. In 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and the president, the end-all presidents, Donald Trump, your favorite for all of you Trumpkins out there, is not doing a doggone thing about it. The situation is just as bad under Trump as it was under Obama and any other previous administration. And you're screaming, build the wall. We don't have the time for the wall to be built. Let me ask you this. Is the wall the only solution to securing the border? Is that it? Without the wall, the border can't be secured. Is that your argument? Is that the argument of the President of the United States? Is that the argument of Laura Ingraham or Sean Hannity or Rush Limbaugh or Greg Abbott or Dan Patrick or Ken Paxton or little Georgie Peepee? The only solution to border security is the wall. I say that it is not. I say at the minimum, the military should be on the border. I say, if necessary, put militia on the border, but the invasion has to stop. Donald Trump is doing an awful job. Abbott and Patrick are doing an awful job. And if we're going to be honest, we have to be honest and call them out.
RER Cross is the Christian programming of RagingElePhantsRadio.com. Pastor Edwin Guerra delivers passionate sermons.
And then I'm reminded, God is greater than our feelings. There are times that you don't want to be Jesus to people because you just don't feel worthy. God is greater than how we feel. And that is our hope. We are called to be the hands and feet of Jesus. We are not called to be emotional, up and down, Christianese type of people. We are called to be bold and stand firm on what we believe, even if you don't feel like it.
Enjoy Pastor Edwin Guerra, 8:30 a.m. and 8:30 p.m. Sundays on RER Cross, right here on RagingElePhantsRadio.com. RER Cross is the Christian programming of Raging...
Green Air Technology will sanitize, sterilize, and defunkifies your home. Our treatment utilizes a high-output biocleaner to eradicate bacteria, germs, and airborne pathogens and allergens in any home, vehicle, or facility. So if your facility or home smells funky like a bow-legged monkey, call Green Air Technologies. We are dedicated to eliminating odor and airborne contaminants at home, at work, or even in your vehicle.
Now featuring Biosphere.
Call Jim Green at 346-254-9217 or go to greenairtech.com. 346-254-9217 or go to greenairtech.com.
When Andrew Jackson ran for president in 1828, his opponents called him a jackass. Jackson liked the image so much, it became the mascot of the new Democratic Party.
What's up, Saints and Patriots? I'm Apostle Claver, a proud Texas nationalist, and I'm here to tell you about Texit. For 25 years, Daniel Miller has been working to see the rebirth of the Republic of Texas. His work has been hard, but his passion is deep. For many Texans, there is a deep yearning, a burning to see the prophecy of Sam Houston come true. But the desire of their hearts comes with many questions. Texit has the answer. It's the new book from Daniel Miller and Defiance Press. Texit, why and how Texas will leave the Union. Texit charts the path to Texas independence. This riveting book of facts and philosophy will soothe your anxiety about the coming change and build your confidence that Texans can get it done. You'll want to buy several copies for your family and friends. Like I've said about this governmental mess, the only way out is out, and the
best part of Texas, I'm in it. Texas, why and how Texas will leave the Union. It's selling like hotcakes. Buy it on RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
Maintaining your home air conditioner is just as important as maintenance on your car. You don't know the big difference there's going to be until you've had the work done. I thought my system was working fine, but now it's better than ever. Galen Beatty did it for me, and he'll do it for you. Good servicing will not only keep your system performing well during the sweltering summers here in Houston, but it will save you money year after year. In my case, it cut my AC power consumption by 20%. Do what I did. Have Galen Beatty set up regular AC maintenance to cut your energy bill and prevent system failure at the worst time. And what's better than being comfortable and saving money? Whether you need a basic tune-up or it's time to put in a new super efficient system, you should call Beatty AC 281-222-9591. That's 281-222-9591 to schedule an AC system tune-up. Beatty AC and Heat. That's B-E-E-D-E AC&Heat.com. BeattyACandHeat.com.
Here's how to use the RER app on your commute and get the latest. Liberty 411. First, download the RER app on your smart device, phone or tablet, Apple or Android. Search Raging Elephants Radio in your App Store or Google Play and hit the search button on your keyboard. Connect your device to your car audio system. Do it via Bluetooth or auxiliary jack. Riding old school? Stick in some quality earbuds and enjoy the serious HD stereo. No excuses. It's here. RER app.
Or Google Play and hit the search button on your
Get to know Texas politics. RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
Do it via Bluetooth or
check us out on the YouTube
Riding old school
channel, live video stream, RER video YouTube channel.
HD stereo.
The easiest way to find it is to go to RagingElePhantsRadio.com. Scroll down the right side of the page, and right there in our YouTube box, you'll see the little bug that says live now. You can click that, and there I is. Eugene Ralph comes up a little bit later on. He's a Raging Elephants Radio contributor. I guess Greg Abbott has got himself some religion on red light cameras. I suppose I should say thank you, Jesus. I mean, I hammer him on so many other different things. I mean, you know what I feel about Greg Abbott? Here's the way to figure out Greg Abbott. He will always do the easy thing. Greg Abbott will wet his index finger and hold it up into the air to see which way the wind is blowing. The idea of Greg Abbott being a committed conservative, I mean, don't even dream of a liberty-driven Texan. The idea of Greg Abbott being a committed conservative is utter folly. But he appears to have found some religion. Somebody got to him. Dallas Morning News, Governor Greg Abbott has a solution for anyone who hates red light cameras in Texas. Banned them. Story is by Brianna Stone of the Austin Bureau. I want to read a couple of paragraphs of this before I bring in Kelly Cook, who is a red light camera, anti-red light camera warrior extraordinaire out of Montgomery County. Governor Greg Abbott wants to ban red light cameras, a measure he announced Monday as part of his plan to increase, get this, public safety in Texas. Banning the red light cameras increases public safety, says Governor Spine of Steel. Article says the cameras, which take photos of vehicles that run red lights, are expensive, increase accidents, and pose constitutional issues, Abbott said in a list of recommendations. Oh my goodness, Greg Abbott sort of sounds like, I don't know, me. Quote, while proponents of red light cameras claim that their presence leads to an increase in safety by decreasing the number of angle accidents or side impact collisions, data show that they may lead to an overall increase in other types of accidents, such as rear-ending due to sharp braking. End of quote. That was Greg Abbott. And then the article by the Dallas Morning News says this: installing a red light camera system costs more than $100,000, according to the Texas Department of Transportation. Oh, that's cheap. No wonder they do it all over the place. Abbott said the cameras might not be constitutional because they take photos of license plates, not drivers, so the people being accused are considered guilty until proved innocent. Well, how about that, Gregory? Good boy. He and other Texas lawmakers have long wanted to get rid of the cameras. As Attorney General in 2013, Abbott proposed letting residents vote to repeal city's red light camera ordinances. Arlington voters did so in 2015, also Houston even before then. The idea gained traction when State Senator Don Huffines, Republican Dallas, filed bills in the last two legislative sessions to eliminate the cameras altogether. Both passed the Senate, but failed to get through the Texas House. Abbott said, "It's past time we get rid of these cameras. It's all about the money. We need to stop these revenue-addicted bureaucrats and get some common sense." Oh my goodness. That actually came out of the mouth, apparently, of Greg Abbott, poll tested, I'm sure. Don't you think, Kelly Cook?
I do think so, and I think you're right. I think he stole our talking point. We've been saying all along this is dangerous. It's about the money. They're unconstitutional. So I'm glad he's been listening. Texas has had red light cameras since 2003, so it's just taken a couple of years for us to pound this into his head. But, I'm cautiously optimistic. At least he has publicly made some campaign promises, so that's a good thing. And he does realize that this is a hot button issue, and that red light cameras have been ripping people off for over a decade, many years. So I find it encouraging, and I hope that he is sincere this time and he really means it.
But you're not end zone dancing, are you, Kelly Cook?
It's better than him coming out defending the cameras. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And he pointed out some of the problems with them being dangerous, and part of that is they go in and shorten the yellow light, which I just find is so incredibly offensive that they would risk people's lives like that to generate revenue.
You came up with the evidence that they actually did that, because in Montgomery County, in Willis, you dug down deep, you and your partner in Liberty,
yes.
Kelly Cannon, Kelly
yes,
Slater.
and Byron Schermbeck, he's probably the overall expert of the state. He's the one really that suggested I check the yellow light time.
Yeah, but he's not as cute as you and Kelly, the Kelly and Kelly team.
Well, that's true. Right, that's true. The Kelly and Kelly. I mean, that's just so catchy.
That's Kelly squared. I thank you, Byron, but you're not as cute. It's not working that way for me today.
Well, and when you say they shorten the yellow lights, let's get really specific on who they are.
Okay.
They is the transportation department. The state did that. The city of Willis doesn't have control of the intersection that's basically on I-45 on the freeway. So that would be TxDOT.
Yeah, but
there was some
sort of revenue sharing plan, wasn't there, Kelly? Like a portion of it goes to the state,
yes.
Supposedly for trauma centers.
A portion does go to the state,
and then another portion, and then the local municipality keeps a chunk as well, right?
That's right. And the article you were quoting, I think that's the one. There's been a couple that came out since he released this because it's kind of exciting. But the comptroller's office quotes that the state is bringing in $640 million. So, it's a little bit of money.
But it's not getting. But they're not doing with it as they should be doing with it. Is that right, Kelly? I think you found that out.
That is right.
Look. First of all, Kelly, there's folks out there that perhaps have never heard of you before. You need to introduce yourself to people, and the work that you've done, you and Kelly Cannon. I mean, I'm kind of teasing a little bit, but you guys have been doing some unbelievably yeoman's work when it comes to fighting the transportation tyranny that's prevalent in this state, especially when it comes to red light cameras. You guys have been on tip of the spear. You've been absolute champions, heroes on this. You fought in Willis and Montgomery County. Are you still based out of there? And what organization are you attached with now, Kelly?
Yes. I serve as the Gulf State Coordinator for Campaign for Liberty. I'm also on the board of the Montgomery County Tea Party. But what really kind of got me wound up was when they put red light cameras in my county. I mean, I had to start driving through these dangerous intersections. And then with some political pressure, we forced them onto the ballot in the city of Conroe. Now, that wasn't a petition drive. That was just political pressure. So the city council voted them, made the decision themselves by free will, if you may, to put that on the ballot in Conroe. And then they were soundly defeated there, and the cameras were removed. And we had seen what had happened in Houston, and so I decided to do a petition drive in Willis to force the issue onto the ballot, which I only needed like 118 signatures, and I got almost 800 pretty quickly. But it's still, it's still a lot of work for a campaign organizer like that to run a petition drive. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of volunteers. So when Greg Abbott declared, a few years ago that he supports petitions to get red light cameras, that's kind of dodging the bullet and not taking responsibility for what's going on in his state when you're laying that kind of burden on the citizens. Like when Kelly and Faith, when they led a petition drive in Arlington to get rid of the cameras, I can't remember how many signatures exactly they needed, but it was like thousands and thousands and thousands, which is no easy feat. So, hat tip to Byron's led a petition drive also. We're glad that we have that option, but it's kind of putting all the work on the citizen instead of the lawmakers taking a stand against something that's unconstitutional, dangerous, and just horrible all the way around. And they also encourages bribery and fraud. These camera programs are riddled with that. I don't know if you remember when they first started in 2003, Linda Harper Brown got a couple of Mercedes for her and her husband from the red light camera company.
Out of the DFW area.
Yes. And you'll find, I don't know if your listeners have heard about the Dallas County schools that just the voters abolished the entire school district. It didn't have teachers and it didn't have students. It was just a school district with buses. It was a kind of a strange thing. It was a 170-year-old taxing entity that rented out school buses. So they put the same company, American Traffic Solutions, that does the red light cameras, also do school bus arm cameras. And anyway, this school district rented out buses to other schools, and they just got busted for all kinds of bribery and fraud and pretty much got abolished because of that. So this program is just riddled with corruption.
And it is a cash cow. I also find it ironic that Greg Abbott would call out the bureaucrats when it's his own bureaucrats underneath him, and especially in the very corrupt and fiscally irresponsible Texas Department of Transportation that this money is going to. I wonder when he's going to get control of TxDOT, Kelly Cook.
Well, I don't know, but it's always good to take, starve the beast. If you can ever shrink government and take money away from them and put, let the people keep that money, that's always a good thing. So we're going to do what we can to hold him accountable to his campaign promise. And I thought it was quite interesting. Out of the 4 things that he released, a public safety document, 21 pages or so, I was pleased to see red light cameras on there as number 4. And we're going to remind him and everybody else that's listening of his comments and his quotes. So I think maybe this is a session we can get it done.
Maybe so. I want to take a break, Kelly, because I do want to talk about the future. I do want to talk about the legislative session and what is the prospects of actually getting this done. Because Abbott did mention in his statement in the press release that in previous sessions red light cameras were banned. I mean, I had State Senator Bob Hall, who is a champion against red light cameras and for transportation liberty on the program, and he made note of that the Senate indeed passed the banning of red light cameras. But now that Joe Strauss is gone, perhaps, maybe, I don't know, it'll get done this time. That's what I want to talk to you about. Kelly Cook out of Montgomery County is my guest right now, and tip of the spear when it comes to fighting against transportation tyranny and unconstitutional red light cameras. This is Raging Elephants Radio. If you're not listening, you're not learning. I'm Apostle Claver T. Kamau-Imani. Claver, your favorite political flavor. Always giving it to you straight, no chaser. Don't cut the stream.
Attention, business owners. The marketing plan of RagingElephantRadio.com is geo-targeted for Texas. From El Paso to Orange, Amarillo to Brownsville, the state of Texas is going to know about us, and they should know about you. Together, we'll have Texas covered like a blanket. When you advertise with us, you immediately get the benefits of statewide exposure. We are the way to advertise your company throughout the state of Texas and grow your customer base economically. No matter the size of your business, we have a package for you, starting at just $100 a month. Get started by clicking the Advertise button on RagingElephantRadio.com. Automobile aficionado Apostle Claver here. Let me introduce you to my mechanic, an ASC certified mechanic, Andre at America's Repair in Houston. Now, you guys know I'm a former fully sponsored race car driver, and I own a high-performance auto. You bet I'm particular about who even touches my car. I go to America's Repair to get all my auto work done, and you should too. Andre has served Spring Branch and all of Houston for over 20 years. America's Repair will match or beat any competitor's price. All repairs come with a 1-year, 12,000-mile warranty. America's Repair is a complete car care and repair center. State inspection, muffler and exhaust work, wheel alignment, brake work, tune-ups, engine transmission work, auto body and paint. Great deals on oil change and AC checkup. America's Repair accepts all extended warranties. 2005 North Gessner, 1 mile north of Memorial City Mall in the Katy. Wednesday is senior citizen discounts. Thursday, active military discount. Call 713-467-2001, 713-467-2001, americasrepair.com, or click the ad on RagingElephantRadio.com.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
One of the premier property management companies in Texas, providing below-market rates with above-market amenities and service. Hartman has owned and operated commercial office properties since 1983, offering premium office space at an affordable price by saving businesses a significant amount of money by keeping taxes, utilities, and maintenance low. With over 30 years in commercial leasing in Houston, San Antonio, and Dallas, we have learned exactly what our customers require.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
Managed on Christian principles with a strong dedication to community benevolence. Whether you need 1,000 or 10,000 square foot of office space, Hartman has that space in one of nearly 50 Texas locations.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
Energy efficient buildings, customer friendly experts, supporters of conservative causes. A Texas owned and operated business for 30 years. A proud corporate sponsor of RagingElephantRadio.com.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
Visit Hartman online, hi-REIT.com. Call 800-880-2212 or click the ad on RagingElephantRadio.com. What's up, Saints and Patriots? I'm Apostle Claver, a proud Texas nationalist, and I'm here to tell you about Texas. For 25 years, Daniel Miller has been working to see the rebirth of the Republic of Texas. His work has been hard, but his passion is deep. For many Texans, there is a deep yearning, a burning to see the prophecy of Sam Houston come true. But the desire of their hearts comes with many questions. Texas has the answer. It's the new book from Daniel Miller and Defiance Press. Texas, why and how Texas will leave the Union. Texas charts the path to Texas independence. This riveting book of facts and philosophy will soothe your anxiety about the coming change and build your confidence that Texans can get it done. You'll want to buy several copies for your family and friends. Like I've said about this governmental mess, the only way out is out. And the best part of Texas, I'm in it. Texas, why and how Texas will leave the Union. It's selling like hotcakes. Buy it on RagingElephantRadio.com.
Listen up, Texans. RER Nation has got to grow. We've got to have those RER app downloads. Android devices. Here's how to share the RER app. Get to your application manager through Settings, tap the RER app logo. There's your Google Play, right? Scroll down, see the share icon, hit it. Choose text or messenger. Pick a couple of Texas patriots. Give a testimony in 160 characters. Send. iOS device folks, do the equivalent through the App Store. Let's get it viral. RER app.
Google Play, right? Scroll down. See the
Numbers equal power. Spread the word about RagingElephantRadio.com.
Still got a lot of work to do on today's program. Raging Elephants Radio contributor Eugene Ralph, he's on deck. And I believe I'm going to have a little bit of time today to tell you why I believe Ted Cruz is going to cruise to victory on November 6, 2018. And then once again, I have to do what I have to do, and that is just share the numbers with you. And then you can use your common sense. Is there going to be a blue wave in Texas? Is Ted Cruz going to be defeated by Beto the Punk? I don't think so. And I believe I have the numbers to prove it. But right now we're talking about Liberty Transportation
And Kelly Cook is here. Fantastic lady. Love Kelly Cook. And Kelly, do you believe that we're going to get this thing done in this 2019 legislative session? Now, Greg Abbott, he's crowing a lot here. And when he wants to do something, he will use political capital to get something done. Let's say, for instance, in 2015, he used his political capital to get universal pre-K, Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders style universal pre-K in 2015, and he got it done. And then in 2017, he just had to have some sort of approval for an Article 5 constitutional convention. I mean, after all, he had written a book on it. So do you believe with all this crowing going on? And I was talking with Terry Hall, texting back and forth with her, the ultimate, transportation saint of the state. And she points out rightly, as we all know, and most of our listeners should know on Raging Elephants Radio, the banning of red light cameras have been a part of the Texas GOP platform for how many different platforms? 3 or 4? Since even before the Tea Party, perhaps? I don't know.
Yes, it's been in there a long time. So we know that the grassroots want it. I mean, and it really is even a bipartisan issue. Like, nobody likes those things except for the people on the receiving end of the bribery, the fraud, the money. Those are the only people.
Joe Pickett, the Democrat, has spoken out against it, has he not?
Yes, he has. Yes, he has. And, when you go out and you do a petition drive and you talk to voters, you just realize how broad the support is to ban the cameras. It's like the older people don't like them. The younger people don't like them. The older people have a hard time reacting to, it's like you got to be clairvoyant to know exactly when the light's going to change on you. You don't know how many seconds are left when you enter a intersection if the light's going to turn yellow. Bus drivers or people hauling horse trailers or anything that can't stop on a dime, they have a hard time stopping.
Strangers in the city, like you found out in the Willis case, how much money is actually collected by those who are strangers driving through Willis, Texas, or any other small town throughout the state, where all of a sudden you pull in there and there's red light cameras and you're unfamiliar, and voila, you got one in the mail.
Yeah, and they send out these scary letters that are full of threats of withholding your registration. Now, we have learned this is very important. You can throw those away. Okay, these are not criminal penalties. This is not the same as if a police officer wrote you a ticket. You don't have the constitutional protections either. You can't request a trial by jury. You can't face your accuser. None of that is going to happen. They're just simply mailing you a request for revenue that you can throw in the garbage. But most people don't know this, and it's sad to say most people don't know their constitutional rights. We're innocent until proven guilty. They're unconstitutional in several ways. So I'm glad to see Governor Abbott mention that part of it, because that's the part that honestly got me fired up and I found so offensive. Besides the fact that they're dangerous and they're creating dangerous intersections by shortening yellow lights just to make money, that is very offensive. But if we don't stand up for our own constitutional rights, we're going to end up without them. And people just not knowing what their rights are, they're intimidated or they trust authority, so they go ahead and get their checkbook out or their credit card to just send this corrupt out-of-state camera company vendor money. And when you get these tickets, it'll say your local police department, say Willis Police Department, but the address will be in another state. So you're like, what? Wait, what is this? So they're not a criminal penalty, so you can throw them away. And I encourage people to go to trashyourticket.com to learn more about details on that. Because we can also starve the beast that way. There's just not enough people realize what their constitutional rights are.
Trashyourticket.com.
Yes, and there's a Facebook page also, Trash Your Ticket, meaning literally throw your ticket in the trash because it's not a real ticket. It's just a piece of mail mailed from a corrupt company in Arizona.
Okay, so let's talk about 2019. 6 Straussian rhinos have declared for speaker so far. Have you dealt with any of them on this issue at all, Kelly? I don't know if you've done any lobbying under the Pink Dome at all on this. I know that you have worked locally, grassroots on this tirelessly. But of the 6 rhinos, Straussians, that declared filed for speaker so far, does any of them hold any hope of carrying the bill across the finish line?
Well, I think our chances are pretty good. And, years ago, it made it through the House and not through the Senate. So the last 2 sessions, which would be the last 4 years, we concentrated.
That's the game they play, Kelly. They do it on gun legislation. They do it on abortion legislation. If they have the signal that one chamber is going to kill a particular quote-unquote controversial bill, to give the other chamber cover, they'll pass it, right? Knowing that the opposite chamber is going to kill it. Okay? In previous sessions, we considered the Texas Senate to be the graveyard of all liberty legislation. And then we found out that, and then once we voted, rhino after rhino out in the Senate, and it became more conservative. Now, Joe Strauss was fully exposed, Lord Byron Cook fully exposed, Charlie Cookie Monster Guerin, Todd the Executioner Hunter, all of them being exposed in the House for what they are, actual enemies of the will of the Texas people, and so then the Senate started passing liberty legislation like the banning of red light cameras, or the Privacy Protection Act, and then in the House it gets obliterated, it gets destroyed. They play that game, don't they, Kelly?
Yes, they do. Yes, we never even got a hearing, and there was more co-sponsors than we had ever had before in the House. So, but we couldn't get it on the calendar, even after it passed the Senate. Bob Hall and Don Huffines are really the Connie Burton. They're the champions in the Senate. Even Senator Nichols, who is terrible on toll roads, honestly, he had some pretty strong statements against red light cameras, and he is the head of the transportation committee. That's why I mentioned his name, because it's very important when you're trying to get a bill passed to get the cooperation or support of the committee that your bill will go through. So, it was going fine with him. And so, the House is going to be different. Hopefully the House is going to be different. They have an opportunity to be different.
Is it the same players in the House, the Freedom Caucus, and nowhere beyond that? Now, we mentioned Joe Pickett, the Democrat out of El Paso, that has been cited several times, even by Terry Hall, that when it comes to transportation liberty, that Democrat is actually on board and on point. I'm thinking that you're confident this time that it's going to get done, no matter who the Speaker of the House is. You believe the momentum is there, and then with Greg Abbott using the bully pulpit and perhaps using some political capital, we can finally get these red light cameras unplugged statewide. Kelly?
I'm cautiously optimistic. Let me put it that way. And you will be hearing out of my mouth a lot of times Greg Abbott's quote about the red light cameras are expensive. They increase accidents. They pose constitutional issues. I will be saying that over and over and over and over again. So I think it looks better than it ever has. We had tons of co-sponsors last time, and it wasn't just the Liberty Caucus. It was the somewhat moderates or the other squishy Republicans also that had co-sponsors. We just couldn't get it passed. And Joe Pickett, he had been the Transportation Committee chair for a long time, but last session he was replaced, and so we just couldn't get it on the calendar. So hopefully the attitudes will have changed in the House, and we're going to do what we always do and go up there and knock doors and walk halls and drum up support, remind people that the governor wants this, the people want this.
Well,
and put a lot of pressure on the House. The Senate's been supportive the last 2 sessions.
Yeah, well, they have indeed, and that is the problem. You do have, it's a bicameral system. I mean, it's a representative republic, supposedly, the plutocracy. But how much fight do you expect big Leo, big law enforcement, to come against this? Because here in Houston,
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Well, let me tee it up for you real quick, Kelly. Because here in Houston, when the red light cameras were plugged in, it was all about safety. And then when it was apparent that the red light cameras were going to get unplugged here in H-Town, then it became about revenue. These The trauma centers are going to lose all this money, blah, blah. Wait a minute. We thought it was about safety when you plug these cameras in. Okay, now you're admitting it's about revenue, and people are going to die in trauma centers now. All trauma centers are going to be underfunded and not have power and broken light bulbs in the ORs because the red light cameras are going to get pulled.
Yeah.
I mean, when I draw a parallel to constitutional carry. When it comes to Second Amendment freedoms, the people have made their will known, but then Big Leo comes in and says, oh, no, we can't have constitutional carry because it's going to be the Wild West. You can't do this. And so Big Leo comes in and gives the legislators cover to thwart the will of the people. Can that scenario happen this time in 2019 where on the red light cameras, Big Leo or the municipal league can come in, city council lobbyists can come in and say, you can't do this because fill in the blank, safety, revenue, yada, yada, yada. And the legislators will capitulate to their fellow public office holders at the municipal level.
Yes, you're exactly right. And when you say the police officers will come in, that is exactly what happens. If you are in Austin during a red light camera hearing and you go sign up to speak and you walk in the room, it is a sea of blue uniforms. Every city that has red light cameras has sent up their police chief to testify against the will of the people. And that is what you see, a sea of blue uniforms. They are there defending their money. And you're right, they actually forget to talk about safety, and they just talk about the money because some of the money goes to, it can't be spent on like just anything. Like you can't build an event center or like spend money for parades for the city. The city gets a portion of the money, but it has to go to public safety. So what that usually translates to is new vehicles for the police departments or new radio systems or software or whatever. It funds the local police departments. That's why they have a vested interest in that.
The brand new coffee urn in the break room or whatever.
Yes, if you can justify it's for public safety locally for the cities, the state gets a chunk too, and that's what goes to the trauma centers. But the cities are, desperately clinging to that money because the police departments use it. And so they usually send the police chief from the city. And this is kind of funny too. They also use the red light camera money to pay the hotel bill in Austin and the dinners and the lunches and, whatever the police chief spends to go testify against the will of the people. And he also gets paid to do that. Now, when I drive to Austin 5 or 6 times during, session or 10 times, that's on my dime. I don't get reimbursed. The taxpayers don't pay for my hotel room. They don't pay for my food. But these police chiefs, that's just a day trip for them, so they don't mind showing up there. And it's the same crowd, like you mentioned, that shows up for constitutional carry hearings.
The people
and the police officers.
I don't think a lot of Texans understand that Big Leo, law enforcement officials, Big Leo is a powerful lobby. And so,
I didn't understand it the first time I went to testify, and I opened the door, and I looked in there and saw those, uniforms and all that authority and the guns and the blue uniforms and the badges. I was shocked. I don't know why. I shouldn't have been because I knew exactly where the money was going. But it's a little bit shocking to realize.
Issues. And just like a Republican up in Washington, Devil City, could never vote against, let's say, a defense authorization bill, no matter what type of tripe is attached to it, even hate crimes or hate language legislation. It's the same thing here in the Lone Star State and the Pink Dome. What Republican is ever going to vote against the will of Big Leo? And my argument has been, Kelly Cannon, fine. If Big Leo has a position, then let each individual officer go through the process of attending a precinct convention, attending a senatorial or county convention, attending a state convention, having input on the platform, and showing up as an individual citizen and not showing up as a lobbying group as they do when they all show up in their blue police uniforms, or are there khaki sheriff's uniforms, or are there the navy blue constable or black uniforms for constables? They're showing up as a lobby against the will of the people. If they want to have influence, go through the process as the grassroots and the liberty movement activists and influencers do. We show up to the precinct conventions, we show up to the county and senatorial district conventions, and we pay our own dime to go up to the state convention to make the will of the people known, the largest voting bloc in the state of Texas. Be damned what Leo once done. Their job is to enforce the laws that we want. That's their job.
Right. And if you remember the top 4 legislative priorities, one of those is to oppose taxpayer-funded lobbying, because they are getting paid to go up there. It's offensive. They're using our own money against us in that way. You're right. They're taxpayer-funded lobbyists. And
red lights are not a petty issue. It's not a trivial issue. It is a constitutional issue. It is the government using its muscle to basically intimidate the people. It's extortion. It's mafia. It's what it is.
It is. And if we give up our constitutional right to a trial by jury, the presumption of innocence, the right to face your accuser, if somebody can just mail you something in the mail to an address that's associated with your vehicle and demand your property for that.
I mean, what's the difference between that and the protections racket in The Godfather 2 and The Black Hand? I mean, can we just put a little? Give me a little. Let me wet my beak a little bit. What's the difference in that and what's happening here in Texas? It's an atrocity. It's an atrocity against liberty, which in fact is tyranny. It's total government intimidation. Give us your money or else.
Right. Yes, that's what they're doing, and people are scared by the letters that they get. And if you don't pay the first request for revenue, then they send you a scary letter from a lawyer, which they can't do anything. It can't go against your credit. I get this question all the time. Let's go over this real quick. You cannot get arrested for not paying a red light camera ticket. They cannot ding your credit. They can't raise your insurance. Like, literally, all they can do is threaten to hold your registration, and most likely they will not do that because the county tax assessors aren't getting any of the money. They have absolutely no incentive to turn you away when you're at their window trying to write them a check. They don't have any incentive to not take your money. They want your money. Yeah. So, anyway. Nothing really happens if you don't pay these. It's a scam.
Yeah,
they're fraud.
I don't quite call Texas a kleptocracy like Washington, Devil City. I do call it a plutocracy, but there are elements of kleptocracy in Texas, and there are many Texans who are unaware of that. That's why we started Raging Elephants Radio. Is that right, Kelly Cook?
Yes, it is. We appreciate you. Thanks for giving us a voice.
Well, we appreciate you, Kelly. You're the champion. You're the absolute hero. You're the one that needs to be held up on shoulders and given trophies and feet kissed and rose petals thrown in your path and everything, because you're out there taking the arrows for us, and we really appreciate it, Kelly. And we're going to have you back soon again, because coming into legislative session, I got a feeling that I think there's going to be a lot of bills filed on this, so there should be some heat on this, and we're going to need your input, Kelly.
I'll be glad to give it.
You're wonderful. Kelly Cook out of Montgomery County. She's awesome. She is indeed a liberty movement activist and influencer dealing with transportation liberty. Love you, Kelly. Talk to you later, girl.
Okay. Bye.
RER Cross is the Christian programming of RagingElePhantsRadio.com. Pastor Stephen Broden is a featured Bible teacher.
What runs interference with God's instructive word are Satan, the world, and the flesh. Out of these three comes doubt, fear, and unbelief. Doubt and fear leads to unbelief. Unbelief, more than any other sin, is targeted towards the very character and integrity of God Himself. It challenges God's promises, His stated purposes, and casts dispersion on His plan for you and all who believe. This is what Satan did in the Garden of God with Adam and Eve. Satan led them to believe God was holding back on them and was unfaithful
untruthful about the consequences if they ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
Enjoy Pastor Stephen Broden, 9:30 a.m. and 9:30 p.m. Sundays on RER Cross, right here on RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
The happiest happy hour on the H-Town West Side. Introducing the Texas Tea Tavern. Texas Tea. The longest happy hour, 12 noon to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday. $3.75 domestic drafts, $8 domestic pitchers, $4 wells, $5 grapies for the ladies. Texas Tea. Texas Tea is the West Side after-work chill-out place. They have this massive door that opens up to a relaxed lawn and patio. Day or night, this time of year, it's marvelous for sipping in convo. Texas Tea. Video poker tournaments all through the week. Tuesday, Texas Trivia. Wednesday, Bring Your Axe. It's open jam night. Live music every Saturday night on the huge stage. Karaoke Sunday nights. Texas Tea. Mudbugs could be boiling in the outdoor kitchen. If you're hungry, the classy food cart on the newly paved parking lot serves $3 tacos that are big as your head. Texas Tea. A safe place for ladies to venture solo. Open every night until 2 a.m. Texas Tea. Easy to find. 1535 Brickmore, a stone's throw from City Center. You may see me there. Get more info, click the ad on RagingElePhantsRadio.com. Texas Specialties is in a little town of 1,000. Three Rivers, Texas. Texas Specialties is a small family business in a town where treating people right is a way of life. The Stubbs family's Texas Specialties started out doing high-quality t-shirts for Texas music scene bands at affordable prices. Everything, the design, the artwork, the printing, accepting minimum orders, even selling t-shirts for the bands online. And now they bring that experience to you anywhere in Texas. Texas Specialties can do the same for any small business, for teachers, for schools, dance classes, athletic teams, clubs, and anyone needing good quality screen printing at an affordable price. The Stubbs family loves to work with ideas and the people who have them. Your experience with Texas Specialties will be excellent. Anything less just will not do. Call 361-784-2052, 361-784-2052. Click Texas Specialties. Ad on RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
Hey, Barry the Music Man here for Tejas Smoke Depot. They have everything you need when it comes to smoke. Check out the 150 square foot walk-in humidor filled with a huge selection of fine cigars. Or give them a call at 830-990-1472 and order up what you want. Maybe you like to roll your own. They have it. Maybe you need a gift for a smoker in the family. How about a new pipe? They have a large selection, even a cross-section of great beers in stock. In a hurry, come by and use the drive-thru. Located at 1639 West Highway 290 in Fredericksburg, Texas. Out of town? Visit them at the website, TejasSmokeDepot.com, or call 830-990-1472. That's 830-990-1472. It's smoking.
Can you do it? The RER 2+2 Challenge. Howdy, rowdy Texans. It's me, E, the millennial voice of RER. I'm a big fan of RagingElePhantsRadio.com. More Texas voters should be listening to RER every day. A better, deeper knowledge of how Texas works will help Texas voters to make Texas more like Texas. The RER 2+2 Challenge. Listen to RER 2 hours a day, every day, for 2 weeks. You'll learn more about Texas politics in 2 weeks than you've ever known. Mark it on your daily calendar. Set your phone alarm. The RER 2+2 Challenge. 2 hours a day, every day, for 2 weeks. RagingElePhantsRadio.com. The rebellious voice of Texas liberty.
Take us wherever you go. Raging Elephants Radio. Streaming on your computer, tablet, and smartphone.
Claver, your favorite political flavor. Always feeling it to you straight, no chaser. Yeah, I was hard on Donald Trump in today's program, opening it up. And I'm going to stay on him. As long as the border invasion continues, I'm going to be on him like a mad dog on red meat. I don't care what letter is behind their name. If it's against the interest of Texans, well, I'm going to hit them like a Moab, mother of all bonds. Eugene Ralph in a few minutes. Okay, hey, I want you guys to know this real quick. Chip Darby, who has this program, The Final Chapter, at 10 a.m. and 10 a.m. on Saturdays here on Raging Elephants Radio. He's an independent producer out of the Golden Triangle, my home turf.
fantastic patriot. He's got tickets to the Renaissance Festival that he's going to send over here. So we've got a hookup with Chip, myself, Raging Elephants Radio, and the Renaissance Festival. Chip made a deal for us to have some tickets, RER, have some tickets to the Renaissance Festival. And I'm going to start giving those puppies away. But here's the deal. I'll start next week. But here's the deal. You're going to have to get the tickets through the Raging Elephants Radio app. That's how you're going to have to do it. So if you have not downloaded the Raging Elephants Radio app, I would suggest that you do that if you want to get Renaissance Festival tickets. Now, I'm just going to throw this out. I'm telling everybody right now, I'm taking advantage. I'm plucking a few of the Renaissance Festival tickets off myself. I am. I'm going to do that because we've got a bunch to give away, and I figured if I want to take 2 or 4, I think I'm gonna have to go with 4 Renaissance Festival tickets. Then, you know, you got to get it through the app, the Raging Elephants Radio app. And the Renaissance Festival tickets are not going to be the last fantastic things that we're going to be giving away, but through the app. Download the Raging Elephants Radio app. Go to your Google Play, go to your App Store, do a search for Texas Politics, or do Raging Elephants Radio. In this case, the best thing that works, if you put a space between Raging Elephants and radio. Put a space between each word, and the search seems to work out a whole lot better. But I'm telling you right now, we're going to have some fantastic stuff coming up, some fantastic free stuff, gifts, prizes, that kind of stuff. But I'm only going to be giving it through the app. So you've got to download the Raging Elephants Radio app. And here's the thing, even if you're listening through the website and I say, hey, Renaissance Festival tickets are ready right now, I'm going to tell you right now, the only way you're going to get the tickets is through the app. You're going to have to launch the app. So you need to go ahead and download the RER app. I want to get to this before I get to Eugene Ralph, because I want to talk to Eugene about this. Ted Cruz is going to win November the 6th. Now, you guys know I really don't give a care about offices that are based in Washington, Double City. But I don't like this hubris, this overconfidence that the jackasses have as far as victory here in Texas. I really don't know what's going to happen. Well, my sense is that Republicans will pick up seats in both the House and the Senate. I'm saying that majorities will be expanded by Republicans in both chambers of the United States Congress. I put it on Twitter. I've said it here publicly. I've said it here publicly just a few seconds ago. They would definitely increase their majorities if they would take my counsel and advice just on messaging. Just come up with something simple. You don't even need some sort of expensive television ad or anything like that. Just, hey, are you an American? Do you have the right to vote? Okay. Are you working? Do you have a job? If your check went up in 2018, if your take-home pay went up in 2018, vote Republican. If your take-home pay went down in 2018, vote for the jackasses. Now, if the Republicans are telling the truth about the tax cuts on a national scale, that the middle class really got blessed by the largest tax cut in American history, so says President the Donald, then that campaign slogan would work. If your take-home pay increased in 2018, vote for the elephants. If your take-home pay so far in 2018 has decreased, vote for the jackasses. That's it. That's it. That's all you need. You don't have to worry about whether they want to abolish ICE. None of that. It doesn't even matter. None of that. You can just say, if your take-home pay went up, vote GOP. If your take-home pay went down, vote for the jackasses. Game over. NC, no contest. Game over. And speaking of game over, I'm telling you right now, on the record, that Ted Cruz missile is going to eviscerate Beto the Punk. Now, it's not as if I really care about who's in Washington, Devil City. But once again, it's about these jackass Democrats. I want their cookie spanked whenever cookie spanking is allowed. The Democrats as a collective are disgusting. They make me want to vomit. Here's the numbers. The 2018 primary. Total votes by the Texas GOP. 1.54 million. And that wasn't the Senate race. Ted Cruz in there, of course. The Democrats, for their primary, their total vote, 1.03 million. Ted Cruz's number of votes in the 2018 Texas primary, 1.31 million. Ted Cruz by himself got more votes than all the votes cast for Senate in the Democratic primary of 2018. Beto the Punk only got 641,000. The Cruz missile got more votes than the entire Democratic race for Senate. The GOP turnout was down while the Democrats stayed about the same from the presidential election cycle in 2016 to 2018. Now, I think it's important to go back and compare apples to apples. So this is a midterm election in 2018. I think that the Democrats, the jackasses, pulling out Barack Hussein Obama to the campaign trail, which obviously he has no zeal for it, he has no spirit for it. His appearances over the weekend were lackluster and absolutely boring. I say bring him on out. If you're bringing the big gun out, Barack Hussein Obama, the Democrat of Democrats, the one who absolutely ushered socialism full force to the Democratic Party, the full anti-Christian agenda into the Democratic Party. If you're bringing out the big gun, then you're not as confident in a quote-unquote blue wave as you would have us to believe. In 2014, total votes in the primary for the Texas GOP. This is important because we're comparing midterm to midterm. Okay, remember Barack Hussein Obama can go out there and campaign all he wants to, but he's not on the ballot. The reason black people were going out and voting in the first place to elect the black man. And in 2012, they weren't going to let white people fire the black man. So regardless of his pathetic job performance, they voted for him again. They weren't going to let the white man fire the black man. They weren't going to let that. Wasn't going to happen. In the general election, Cornyn beat the Democrat jackass by 1.26 million votes, 27.2%. This is the midterm, 2014. Barack Hussein Obama not on the ballot. Abbott beats Wendy Working Girl Gold Digging Davis by nearly 1 million votes and 20.37%. Let's go back real quick to 2010. The first Tea Party election, it was midterm. This is when Nancy, Wicked Witch of the West Pelosi, lost the gavel. GOP votes, 1.48 million. Jackass votes in the primary, 680.5 thousand. And in the general, unpopular Rick Mr. 39 Perry beat the former mayor of Houston by 631,000 votes, 12.67%. This is a midterm versus midterm thing. I don't see any energy from the left, at least not here in Texas. And I'm saying Ted Cruz is absolutely going to pummel Beto the Punk.
come November the 6th. Will advertising on Raging Elephants Radio help your business?
Hello, my name is Galen Beatty at Beatty AC and Heating. I advertise on RagingElephantsRadio.com, and I'd urge you to do the same. Small and large business owners, if you want
Beat
a
the
really
Pump,
affordable
come
way
November
to
the
get your name,
6th.
products, and services to a large audience.
Will advertising on
of
Raging Elephants
consumers,
Radio
I'd
help
advertise
your
on
business?
RER.
Hello,
my name is Galen
Ask
Beatty
about
at
our
Beatty
double
AC
value
and Heating.
package.
I
You'll love it.
advertise on
Affordable,
RagingElephantsRadio.com, and I'd urge you to do the same. Small and large business owners, if you want a really affordable way to get your name, products, and services to a large audience of consumers, I'd advertise on RER.
Ask about our double value package. You'll love it. Easy, affordable, effective. Email RERads@RagingElephantsRadio.com. That's RERADS@RagingElephantsRadio.com.
Hey, this is Barry the Music Man with the Doc Green Show, and one of their most beloved sponsors is BDAC and Heat. I'll tell you what, last summer when it was hotter than heck, my air conditioner went south for the winter. So I called BDAC and Heat. He came out the next day and put in a new, quiet, efficient system. My electric bill dropped 50%. So if you have an AC problem, you need to give Galen a call. So call Galen Beatty at 281-222-9591 or BDACandHeat.com. 281-222-9591. Start saving money and be cool today.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
One of the premier property management companies in Texas, providing below-market rates with above-market amenities and service. Hartman has owned and operated commercial office properties since 1983, offering premium office space at an affordable price by saving businesses a significant amount of money by keeping taxes, utilities, and maintenance low. With over 30 years in commercial leasing in Houston, San Antonio, and Dallas, we have learned exactly what our customers require.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
Managed on Christian principles with a strong dedication to community benevolence. Whether you need 1,000 or 10,000 square foot of office space, Hartman has that space in one of nearly 50 Texas locations.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
Energy-efficient buildings, customer-friendly experts, supporters of conservative causes. A Texas-owned and operated business for 30 years. A proud corporate sponsor of RagingElephantsRadio.com.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
Visit Hartman, working to see the rebirth of the Republic of Texas. His work has been hard, but his passion is deep. For many Texans, there is a deep yearning, a burning to see the prophecy of Sam Houston come true. But the desire of their hearts comes with many questions. Texit has the answer. It's the new book from Daniel Miller and Defiance Press. Texit, why and how Texas will leave the Union. Texit charts the path to Texas independence. This riveting book of facts and philosophy will soothe your anxiety about the coming change and build your confidence that Texans can get it done. You'll want to buy several copies for your family and friends. Like I've said about this governmental mess, the only way out is out. And the best part of Texas, I'm in it. Texas, why and how Texas will leave the Union. It's selling like hotcakes. Buy it on RagingElephantsRadio.com.
Several copies for your family and friends.
The world's largest newsstand is now at the touch of your fingertips with Zinio. Zinio delivers thousands of magazines from all over the world to your iPhone, iPad, or PC in an instant. With high-quality graphics and an easy-to-use, exciting interface, scrolling through your favorite magazines becomes pure enjoyment. With Zinio, you can share articles with your friends or post to Facebook. Zinio is where the digital world meets the real world.
Visit Zinio Digital Magazines through the RER Marketplace.
Hey, this is Claver. I want to take a few seconds to give you some words of encouragement. Go after the dream. Some of you have embraced the dream of having your own talk show. Congratulations. You got a lot to say, and you have the confidence to lead. You can do a great job. You should start on RagingElephantsRadio.com. Purchasing your own block time is cheap. Yeah, a lot cheaper than your local terrestrial station for sure. And we don't leave you to sink or swim. Consultation on how to get up and running is part of our service to you as an RER independent producer. Shoot me an email, info@RagingElephantsRadio.com. info@RagingElephantsRadio.com. I'll send you a full media kit. Launch that dream right now with RagingElephantsRadio.com.
Texas Talk is all the rage. Apostle Claver T. Kamau-Imani on RagingElephantsRadio.com.
Hey, just having fun talking Texas Liberty 411. A little bit of a
cyclonic disturbance out there in the Gulf. Let's keep our eyes on it. It's supposed to be heading this way. Let's hope we don't have ourselves a Harvey in the sense of quick development to Cat 4 in a matter of 2 days. We're experienced. We don't panic. We know what to do. We're Houston, Texas, the city that kicked the hurricane's ass. His name is Eugene Ralph. He's a Raging Elephants radio contributor. He's my fellow ultra-conservative soul brother based out of the Metroplex. Eugene, good to talk to you again, my brother.
And you as well, man. How you doing today?
Blessed and highly favored. Feeling good. 5 years now for Raging Elephants Radio. So, yeah, man, I'm feeling good. I think we're gonna go forward, and we're gonna conquer for the cause of liberty and the cause of Christ. Hey, man, listen. I don't feel a blue wave. I was sharing the numbers from previous midterm elections in the previous segment before I brought you on, especially in the issue of the cruise missile versus Beto the punk. And I think this is all phony. The possibility of Beto beating the cruise missile, or Donald Trump coming in here to do a campaign rally like Cruz is in trouble. I mean, if we go back to 2016, they had polling data that said Hillary was down by 1 point. We always have these quote unquote blue scares, but in the midterms, it's a base versus base turnout election. And even when Barack Hussein Obama was in the White House, the Democrats, as Barack Obama said, got shellacked in the midterms. That's how Nancy Pelosi lost her gavel in 2018. And that's how we believe that Obamacare was definitely on the way out in 2014. The only time the Democrats had anything to crow about was the presidential elections of 2008 and 12 when Barack Obama was on the ballot. He can campaign all he wants, Eugene. He is not on the ballot this time, and I don't believe he has the zeal, the energy, or the import to get black people out this time. This is a midterm, and in the midterms, the Liberty Movement has the advantage. Your thoughts on this, Eugene Ralph?
Yeah, well, I don't share your optimism. I'm a little more, as a matter of fact, I'm a lot more concerned than that. There's a lot of differences that's taken place since that time. Every election is going to be a different election, and although we can learn from what happened in the past, we also have to consider what's taking place right now. And one of the things that I have to keep I think we all should keep in mind is that the left is a lot more animated than they have been in previous years. I mean, they were pretty animated in 2016, but they took a lot for granted. They're not doing that right now. They're very animated towards moving Republicans out of position, and I think that there's a little bit too much of a lackadaisical attitude from Republicans, in my opinion, that hold elected office, that we're going to hold this thing and we're going to win. And in some cases, I think that, you can sort of rely on that. And I'm willing to believe that Ted Cruz is going to pull it out as well, but it's going to be a lot tougher than what it appears. I don't think that the March elections were a good indicator to give you an idea of what's going to take place in November from the standpoint of turnout, because, number one, Democrats, as you know, typically vote more in the general election than they do in primaries. Secondly, Republicans, a lot of the rank and file Republican voters, have this kind of a lackadaisical attitude as well. Oh, well, we're going to win anyway, so it don't matter if I show up. So, we're dealing with a lot of that. And so I think that when you consider that, you also have to, do what you talked about before, you talk about winning beyond the margin of theft. You consider the illegal voting that takes place with the, with the aliens and all kinds of people who are not legitimately registered, all that type of stuff, and you consider all the shenanigans that take place. That this is a real dogfight here. I mean, up here in Dallas area, Pete Sessions is running for his life. They got this guy who's a former football player, now turned lawyer, who's backed by Obama, and he's chomping on the heels of Pete Sessions, and I'm seeing Pete Sessions campaign in ways I've not seen him campaign in recent years. And the thing is, Pete Sessions' district crosses Don Huffines, Lisa Luby Ryan, Matt Rinaldi, what is the guy, Morgan Meyer and Linda Coop, and I think one other person. His district crosses all of those districts. So, you know, having to get Republicans to come out and vote down ballot, that's a lot of what has to be focused on. And I think it's going to be about turnout. Here in Dallas County, we have a majority of Republicans in the county. The problem is getting them to turn out and vote down ballot. You know, that's what's killing us. Democrat, it don't really matter what the turnout is, they vote straight ticket. And, you know, I'm really happy to see that's going to go away after this election. But the bottom line is getting Republicans to turn out and vote in great numbers and vote all the way down the ballot. That's going to be the biggest challenge that Republican Party of Texas faces this election cycle.
Well, I'm glad that we do have a difference of opinions, because all too often, Eugene, we come on here and we're preaching to each other choir to choir, you know. But when I'm looking at the numbers, I look at it like this. I hear your cautionary tale, and I'm glad that we're not overconfident. I'm glad that, you know, we're not strutting around prematurely end zone dancing. But I do want to battle back against the pablum or the propaganda of the jackasses. I do. And when I'm looking at the numbers, you know, and I see the Republicans pulling the panic button, it sort of reminds me of the coach that hypes up the team when they are a heavy favorite in a ball game. You know, in football, baseball, basketball, they're supposed to go out and they're supposed to beat this, you know, Rudy Poot team. Is just really supposed to be almost like a scrimmage, inter-squad scrimmage. You're just playing somebody with a different jersey. And for the coach to get everybody hyped up and ready to go, he has to pull this panic button. These guys are going to beat us. You guys are lousy. And he just hammers on us all week long before the game. If I'm gonna make an apple to apple comparison, the reality is, Eugene, the Democrats have to make up a ton of ground. Just in the last midterm, you cannot, I do not believe, in honest analysis, compare a presidential cycle to a midterm cycle. And just in the last midterm cycle of 2014, Cornyn beat the Democrat by 27.2%. Abbott beat Wendy Working Girl Davis by 20.37%. Okay, these margins increased in the midterm from 2010, the first Tea Party election, to the second Tea Party election of 2014. And I understand you're saying there's more energy on the left, but I don't see anything in comparison with all their violence, with Antifa out there doing its thing, Republican congressmen getting shot, Republican Congress candidates almost being stabbed with a switchblade. I still don't see the type of political energy that was demonstrated in 2010 and 2014 by the left that was demonstrated by us on the right in the Liberty Movement, the Tea Party. I don't see that. I don't understand how it's going to be translated. Here in Texas, I can't talk about the rest of the nation, but here in Texas, that's a lot of ground to make up. That is a lot of ground to make up. 20%, you know? I mean, even in an election cycle in 2016, you can't look at the Trump election. The largest vote getter was Supreme Court Justice Ava Guzman. She won by 16 points. That's a lot of ground to make up by Beto the punk. And I'm just saying there's a lot of panic button going on. I think it's hyping up the electorate. Yes, need to go out, need to vote, need to pull it across the finish line. But the numbers say that Ted Cruz should crush Beto O'Rourke.
What numbers are you looking at? You're looking at based on the turnout from the past election, right?
I'm looking at the election.
I hear
results.
What you're saying.
I'm looking at the election.
I totally hear that. But my point is, at the same time, Claver, this is what it comes down to, man. It comes down to turnout in this election. And if the Democrats or the left is more amped up to turn their people out than we are, then that's going to be a huge difference. And I hear what you're saying. But when you consider the fact that we in this state with 28 million
Democrats, there's not a. I'm saying here, I can't speak about the other 49 states. I'm just talking about here in Texas.
I'm talking about here in Texas.
There's not enough Democrats based on the numbers, general and primary election. I'm just not quoting primary election. I'm quoting general election results.
But you're talking about 4 years ago. That's 4 years ago, man. You realize how many people's moved into the state in 4 years?
That's the point I'm making. That's the point I'm making. Do you believe that a 27.2% gap has been made over the last 4 years?
No, I think if you're looking at it straight on numbers, no, I don't believe that.
That's all that counts, the numbers.
There's some things you're not considering. Where's the excitement on our side? I don't see that. There's pockets of excitement on our side. There's people like you and me that's very animated.
That's exactly my argument, Eugene. There isn't the animation on the right on our side, and so they're using scare tactics. When the truth of the matter is
because it could be a reality, Claver. Look at what they took for granted in 2016 on the left. They took for granted that they had this. Right? So they didn't get animated. Our side was the side that was animated.
They thought they had it on the left because everything was rigged. She had everything. She even had Google, for crying out loud. They thought they had it because it was completely and totally locked in, even to the DOJ and the FBI and the CIA, for crying out loud, and the NSA and the National Security Council. They thought they had it locked in.
Even with all of that, Claver, they still took some things for granted. I'm talking about the campaign. The campaign took some things for granted. We don't have to do certain things because we got this. That's the attitude. That's what wipes you out.
No. I'm not arguing that at all. I'm not saying sit back in the lazy chair and enjoy everything. No, we have to get out. We have to work. I would never advocate for taking anything for granted. You know better than that, Eugene. I'm just saying that I don't believe the hype. I don't believe that Beto is that close when we know that the polling methodology has been skewed and off for election cycle after election cycle, that it's wrong. They said that Hillary was in 1 point in the general election down here, and she lost by 8, and Eva Guzman won by 16. Come on. That's the point that I'm making. I just want truth. I want transparency. I'm not saying we got to sit back in a lazy boy and sip on Lone Star beer. What I'm saying is tell us the truth. Don't hype us up. That's all I'm saying. All I want the people and the electorate of Texas to do is deal in reality. That's my argument, Eugene.
Well, they may be doing some hype, and they may not. I mean, they may see some things that we're not aware of because, like I said, basically from what I'm seeing is talking with various different types of people. And all of these people are not getting the emails, the hype emails, or even opening those emails if they're getting them. These people are not believing, they're not concerned because of what messages the Republican Party is giving them. If anything, they're concerned because of a lack of a message from the Republican Party to them regarding what needs to take place. So my point is that, if you listen regardless of what the area is, Dan Patrick is running commercials statewide, but there are no commercials being run by any other statewide candidates or even by the party talking about why you should be voting Republican. And my point is that that's what people are realizing that's missing. Look, you can size up your opposition and come to a conclusion of what you're going to need to do in order to overcome your opposition. And what I'm saying is that I don't see that effort really being taken seriously like it's being taken on the other side. These people seem like they understand what they're up against, and they're making a formidable effort to overcome it. And I'm hoping that they don't succeed. But my point is, on our side, there's a lot of things that I believe are being taken for granted, and being taken things for granted, regardless of what your reasoning is, regardless of how you do it, if you take it for granted, you run the risk of actually losing, and that's my concern.
All right, let me jump in. Last question here, Eugene, and I got about 1 minute left here. Let's bring it to Texas. Let's bring it to the Pink Dome. This is the Texas Network. This is the rebellious voice of Texas Liberty, RER. When it comes to the Pink Dome, Texas House of Representatives, Are seats going to be lost? Is the majority going to be reduced? How about the Senate? Is it going to remain the same, or are Republicans going to lose seats as far as the Pink Dome is concerned? Because, and before your answer, I just want to remind people that in 2009, when Joe Strauss became Speaker of the House, the division of the Texas House of Representatives was 76-74 in favor of Republicans, only a 2-seat majority for Republicans. In 2010, after the first Tea Party election, the first official Tea Party election, the Republicans literally had a supermajority of 101 seats in the Texas House of Representatives. And primarily due to redistricting, the 2010 census, everybody remembers that battle. They've essentially lost 5 or 6 seats from that 101 supermajority. It's still 95, 96 seats for the Republicans out of 150 in the Texas House of Representatives, and the Texas Senate is 1 seat away from a supermajority as we speak right now. So with all that being said, with the numbers that I've shown from previous midterms, previous Tea Party dominated elections, and what we face today with President Trump in the head in the ticket as the leader of the party, Greg Abbott top of the ticket here in Texas, the very important internationally highlighted Ted Cruz, Beto the Punk senatorial race. When it comes to the Pink Dome, how strong will the Republicans be second week of January, Eugene Ralph?
I believe that the Republicans are going to hold the Senate, and whether or not they'll actually lose a seat there, I'm not sure, because I don't know the breakdown of all the Senate seats. But when it comes to the House, I believe that it really, and I can actually measure this more from Dallas County than I can probably better from anywhere else. I believe that everything is going to be determined by the effort that's put forth from the Republicans about getting out their turnout. If the Republican Party of Texas, along with the individual counties, work towards getting their turnout, getting Republicans to turn out and vote down ballot, then we'll hold them. Might even see some increases. But the bottom line, if the Republican Party falls down on the job, then we run the risk of actually losing some key seats. And it's hard to say right now, but give me maybe a few more weeks.
Yeah, but you're putting a lot of responsibility, and I don't blame you. I'm with you on this, but I'm saying it a different way. There's a lot of pressure to be done, a lot of responsibility on James Dickey State Party Chair and the individual county chairs, especially in the metropolitan districts. Are we in concurrence there?
Yes, we are. Eugene
Ralph, he's a Raging Elephants radio contributor. The organization he heads up is called Game Changers, CHAIN, GameChangers.org. Eugene, what is the motto of Game Changers?
We are working to break the mental chains of progressivism with information, education, and activation.
One thing I love about Eugene Ralph, even when we don't agree on all the points, it's not about disagreement. It's about how to get to the ultimate goal. And we do it with civility, and we do it with mutual love, and we do it with respect for each other's intellect. Love you, Eugene. Talk to you next week, my brother.
All right, my brother. God bless.
That's it, Saints and Patriots. Another great program here on Raging Elephants Radio with your favorite political flavor. I'm Apostle Claver T. Kamau-Imani, the Christian politician, your ultra-conservative soul brother. My enemies under the Pink Dome call me the Purifier, and I like it. From H-Town, the city that kicked a hurricane's ass, may the Lord Jesus bless you. May the Lord Jesus bless the future independent sovereign republic of Texas.